Hello, my name's Caven and welcome back to Scaredy Cat Films. I've been on quite a little hiatus and I want to apologize. I'm going to be coming back with weekly uploads every Friday. That's a promise. I have some videos already made in advance, so I shouldn't become too overwhelmed when it comes to creating breakdown videos as well as copyright claims and things like that, so hopefully we'll be good. Now let's talk about today's video. With The Black Phone being released on streaming, I figured it'd be the perfect movie to cover for my comeback video. I enjoyed it a lot, and if you can check it out while it's still in theaters, which it is right now, I highly recommend it. The Black Phone is based on a short story of the same name written by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. Scott Derrickson, the director of movies like Sinister and The Exorcism of Emily Rose, directed this movie, and I think he did a really good job of adapting the short story and expanding on it. Now let's get into the breakdown and let's see who's on the other end of The Black Phone. We start the film in 1978 at a baseball game. Our protagonist is a young boy named Finney who's pitching against a boy named Bruce. Bruce hits one of Finney's pitches and wins the game. Bruce is nice to Finney though and compliments him on his arm.
Dude, man, your arm is mint. You almost had me. Good game. Good game.
Bruce is riding around a neighborhood on his bike when he's abducted by someone in a black van. Finney has a sister named Gwen who can see visions in her dreams. Finney and Gwen go to school together and they see a boy named Robin with a bully.
I will pound you like a nail, you scrawny little beaner.
Then do it.
Robin doesn't take any shit and beats the bully. While walking, the two siblings give some exposition about recent kidnappings and mention that the kidnapper is known as the Grabber. So that's just what I'll call him for the rest of the video. At school, some bullies go after Finney, and he hides in the bathroom, but they find him there pretty quickly. Robin, the kid from earlier, shows up and threatens the bullies, making them leave Finney alone. Robin and Finney talk, and we learn that they're actual friends, and that Finney helps Robin with schoolwork. The police show up to school and talk to Gwen about her visions, since she had told Bruce's sister she had a dream of him being abducted. The police don't believe her, however she does have lots of details that they didn't release correct, so they think she's involved somehow, or at least knows more about the situation. Back at the house, we meet Finney and Gwen's dad, who's an alcoholic. He beats Gwen with a belt for talking to the police about her dreams. Finney witnesses this, but is too afraid to do anything. We learn that their mother used to also see things and committed suicide, so their dad doesn't want that for Gwen. I mean, he's going about it in the worst way, I'd say. We cut to Robin, who's out for a walk, and he runs into the Grabber, who takes him. This obviously makes Finney sad, and also allows the bullies to come after him again since Robin isn't there to protect him. Gwen is a good sister and comes to his aid, making one of the bullies bleed pretty bad. Damn. Finney and Gwen part ways, with Gwen going to a friend's house and Finney walking home alone. He sees a black van and a man drops some groceries and asks for help. Finney, against his better judgment, does help him and becomes the Grabber's next kidnapping victim. Finney wakes up and he's in someone's basement. The Grabber, who's played by Ethan Hawke, shows up letting him know the basement is soundproofed. The Grabber's mask is super cool and changes throughout the movie. It was designed by Tom Savini, who did effects on movies like Friday the 13th and Dawn of the Dead, for people who don't know him. I really like it a lot, plus Tom Savini was pretty cool when I met him, so. The only thing in the basement is a mattress and a black rotary phone on the wall. There's also a little section with the toilet for, Finn to use the restroom. That was nice of the Grabber. The rotary phone rings, but the Grabber tells him it just does that. He thinks it's the static electricity. When left alone, the phone rings again and Finney decides to answer it. He hears the voice of a boy on the other end of the phone who doesn't remember his name. The voice does remember Finney and mentions that his arm is mint. Finney remembers Bruce saying this and puts two and two together. Bruce's ghost tells Finney that he started digging a hole and tells Finney where it was. Finney tries to dig deeper into the hole to make a tunnel, but is unsuccessful. The Grabber leaves food for Finney.
I made you some breakfast.
What did you put in that?
Salt and pepper.
And then he goes right back upstairs. He seems to accidentally leave the door unlocked. Finney almost goes to try and escape, but the phone rings again. This time it's the ghost of a boy named Billy, who prefers to be called the Paper Boy since he doesn't remember being known as Billy. He lets Finney know that the Grabber does this on purpose, to see if the kids he kidnaps will misbehave. If they do, then he beats them badly with a belt. Billy tells him about a cord he had been pulling out of the wall. He instructs Finney to use it to try to get to a grated window. Finney is able to reach the window but falls and is unsuccessful once again. Gwen has a dream of Billy being kidnapped, and she confides in her father about what she saw. He decides not to be an asshole this time, and takes her to the cops to talk. The police are stopping at houses while looking for Finney and meet a man named Max, who's investigating the grabber himself. He mentions the house is his brother's and he's just visiting for now. The police leave and we get a reveal that Finney is actually in the basement of the house, with Max being completely unaware, meaning his brother is probably the grabber. The grabber comes to talk to Finney and asks him what his name is. Finney lies and the grabber gets upset, already knowing Finney's real name because of the newspaper. The grabber goes upstairs, leaving the door unlocked again, and waits for Finney to disobey. The phone rings, and this time it's a ghost named Griffin, who tells Finney that the grabber used his bike lock for the front door. He can't remember the combo, but knows he carved it into the wall somewhere. Finney finds it and he tells him that the grabber is sleeping and now is his chance. Finney gets upstairs and walks past the grabber and unlocks the front door and starts to run away. Doing this though causes the grabber's dog to bark, and it wakes him up, and he begins to run after Finney. He catches up to him and brings him back to the basement. The phone rings once again, and this time it's a boy named Vance. We see a sequence of Vance getting arrested and realize that it's Gwen having a dream of it. Vance reveals a house that Gwen believes is actually the place Finney is at. Back in the basement, Vance tells Finney that the wall is weak at a certain point, and he can break through it to get into the meat freezer. Finney does this, but the freezer is locked, so he can't get through. He sits for a second and takes in the situation, and begins to cry. The phone rings again, and this time it's Robin, Finney's friend from school. Robin tells Finney that he's going to help him escape, and tells him how to pack the phone with dirt and shows him how to hit with it. He encourages Finney and tells him he will live.
I've tried everything, nothing's worked.
Yet.
Robin.
You remember what I told you?
That I need to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Before that.
That someday I have to stand up for myself.
Someday is today, Finn.
Gwen gets the police once again to go to the house that she saw in her dream. Meanwhile, Max is looking at his evidence and comes to the realization that his brother is the grabber and that someone's probably in the basement. Max goes down there and finds Finney, who asks him to help. The grabber shows up and kills Max with an axe. That rhymed. Blaming Finney for making him have to kill his brother. The grabber tells Finney he's going to make him hurt really bad and calls his dog Samson down. The police show up to the house Gwen told them about and break inside. We get a Silence of the Lambs situation where we think the police are going to get to Finney, but it turns out to be the wrong house. The grabber goes for Finney with the axe, but Finney's able to dodge it and runs. He trips the grabber and makes him fall into the hole he was digging. Finn then uses the phone cable and chokes the grabber, eventually breaking his neck. He uses meat from the freezer to distract Samson so that he can leave the house. Turns out he was in the house right across the street from where the police are. How convenient. The police go into the basement of the other house and find that it's where the grabber buries his victims. Finney then reunites with Gwen. He goes back to school where news of him killing the grabber is going around. The bullies no longer mess with him, and he now has the confidence to talk to the girl he likes.
Call me Finn.
So that was The Black Phone. I really like this movie, and I enjoy how it was shot. Like I said in the beginning, it's currently in theaters, so if you can go see it, go see it. If you want to stay at home and watch it, it's streaming. I watched it on Amazon. It's like $20. Get a couple of friends and, check it out. Next week, we'll be starting with the Evil Dead franchise. So go ahead and leave a comment if there's a movie or franchise you want me to break down. I'll check it out. Leave a like if you like this breakdown, and subscribe for more breakdown horror videos in the future. Alright, I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks.